January 28th, 12:13 p.m. And those you see right there are some cuttings from a Japanese maple. Down there on the floor, those are my first attempts at doing cuttings. So if you don't know anything about them, I've saved some other videos in my playlist on this channel from authorities on the subject, and I think I've done it right. I think this would be a good example to show you. It's pretty straight, about 6 inches long. You see the node there on the top, then the second one there, third node there just above my finger, and then the fourth one down here at the bottom right there. So the idea is where that node is at, you want to cut just below it, not through it, not on it. So the way I understand it is if you were doing this cutting, this is a node, and you'd want to cut about right there, right below that node, leaving 1, 2. This one only has 2. Now, it seems to me the more nodes you'd give it, the better chance, but again, I'm no expert. This one I think I did right. I cut it just below the lower node there, and then I left it 1, 2, and 3. So over here I've got some cuttings from some hydrangea, which I think look just awesome. It looks like something out of a Chinese painting, doesn't it? Really pretty. I've taken some pictures with this already with my guitar as a backdrop, and it looks really nice. Anyway, so maybe some dry flowers for a dry flower business, but here's some cuttings I can take also, so I can have some hydrangea. And here's the rest of the cuttings I have. So it makes quite a few cuttings, just this little bit right here. I don't know how many trees this could potentially be. Now I did hear on the red maples that there's a strong chance that these will not live beyond 2 or 3 years, but you know what? I'm just going to try. We'll experiment and see what happens. So here I'm just playing with my hydrangeas. I just stuck them in there just to see what they would look like, but I still want to put some dip and grow compound on them. And I'm just going to put them in here and see if they'll actually start to go. And over here in the ground, those are more hydrangeas. Then over here, the Japanese maple, all down there. And then on the end, those that look a little different, those are flowering crabapple. Very pretty. So I was going to review with you the dip and grow that I got. This is highly recommended all over the web and on YouTube. So it says the bottle treats up to 2,000 cuttings. Complete instructions inside. Alright, that would be the contents. Looks like we have some sort of mixing container, and then this, of course, is the solution. Notice the ingredients in here. I have no idea what any of this is. Indole 3 muriatic acid. Other ingredients, 98.5%. It's pretty funny. Alright, so the most helpful stuff, I guess, is that it should be used within 10 hours. Read and follow directions for use. Blah, blah, blah. As soon as possible. Okay, directions for using the dilution cup as soon as possible after taking cuttings. Prepare a dilute solution of dip and grow as follows to avoid spilling. Carefully pour dip and grow from the 2-ounce bottle. Okay. Alright, looks like I got it figured out. So it's 1 part dip and grow to 5 parts water for hardwood cuttings. And I have been assured that professionals do this all year round. I'm not a professional. However, it seems pretty basic. If we can keep the temperature, at a decent temperature, keep the plant safe, and introduce warmth to it, it's going to interpret that as it's time to grow, and it will start to grow. So let's go ahead and do that now. For all of my baby cuttings, I'm going to go ahead and plant them in this little pot that's got drainage holes on the bottom. So I'm simply just going to fill it up with the Pro Mix, dip it in the root hormone, band them together, and stick them in. Alright, so what I've decided to do here, a lot of you probably wouldn't. I'll show you. I've taken the smallest pieces that would normally be discarded, and I've separated them out. That'll give you an idea of the scale. You see that one? It's not as big as it's as big as my nail. That's how small these are. Then over here, there's a few that are a bit larger. Again, that gives you an idea. Anyway, I'm going to try all of these. I'm going to stick all of them and see what happens. So this is my first group, and they're arranged as the smallest, straightest. So hopefully they're going to be easier to handle and easier to stick. So let's go and do the rooting compound. I'm just working over the kitchen sink. Okay, so the first bit been poured in, and now I'll dilute with water. Okay, when it's mixed, that's what it looks like. Kind of cloudy solution. So this is my first time doing it, but I pretty much figure that you want to get all the ends lined up as straight as possible. The camera will focus. And then we'll just go ahead and dip. It says to hold them in about 3 to 5 seconds. I've seen other videos where they give them a good douse like I just did. Alright, so there you go. That first batch has been stuck. Who knows? Maybe one day all those little trees will be big enough a bird can put a nest in it. Can you imagine? If you're more of the business type, then just look at each one of those little sticks there as representing a pile of dollar bills, because each one of those could range anywhere from $20 to $300 depending on how big they get. So either way you look at it, I don't like to waste. Now you can see my big guys, they're not going to fit in a little pot like that. And yes, I could cut these a few more times. Let me look at them and see if that might be something I want to do. The decision has been made. We're going to pull a King Solomon and split the baby. I'll take one of these and I'll cut it and make it into 2. And one of them will leave, and we'll see what comes of it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stick the large one into the rooting hormone. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to poke him in the soil right here on my workstation. About an inch down. See how that turns out. Another small leftover container. Over here in the sink, I'm just going to break up some of these clumps. Actually, that's left over from the other plant. I'm just going to get it out of there. And then turn on the water. And I'm just going to soak it until the water's coming out the other end. Okay, there we go. Now while it's draining down, put it there. Alright, now these guys left here are my next most viable cuttings. So I need to see how tall they are, because I don't think that's going to work, that little one. Decided I'm just going to go ahead and dip my cuttings one at a time and stick them And I'm placing them just below the nub, the lowest nub there that you see. I'm just putting the dirt just a little bit over that nub. And the next one, and so on. You can see this guy's a little crooked, but still something to save, I figure. I know I've seen other people do this by banding them all up and then sticking them all at once, but I'm in no rush. This is for my own therapy and my own use anyway. So I want to take the time. Pretty neat, huh? I figure if these were just $10 each once they get going, you just basically did $200 worth of work right there. Took really no effort. And if you look at it from the other perspective, for your own use, therapy, enjoying watching a plant grow, wow, I'll get these going out in the woods eventually, and these will grow up to be beautiful trees that I'll look at and care for. So this is a win-win to me, y'all. These guys are probably going to be more experimental. You see those little nubs right there? Normally those would be tossed. I have an idea to just plant those like seeds. If I can get those in so that the head is up. See what looks like those little claws coming out? I sincerely am just going to try to push that into potting soil and see what happens. I've got these irregular shaped ones that are kind of like Ys. Then you'll see over here the little small ones. They are Ys also. Over here, more Ys. And then two nice straight ones that I split in half. Remember, I split them in half from the nicer long straight one. So anyway, I got to get all these in the ground next. Look down here. These are the supplies I got in from my growing station. These little cell packs, 1,440 of these for my Japanese maple trees that are all seed right now, and they are currently in the refrigerator staying cold until I'm ready to go with those. But you can see these are quite flimsy. I can put a link in the description if you're interested in these. I wanted them because they have the drainage holes especially, and they're cheap, like less than 20 bucks. So I'll use those. And then these are my bonsai containers. They also have drainage on the bottom. Again, they were cheap, like $22, I think, $20 for 8. I can link those also if you're interested. So I'm going to put the cell packs in there, just like that, fill it with dirt, and then I'll stick the rest of these. These just tear apart like this. I just use some scissors to get it started, and then you can just gently tear them apart. So there we go. We've got the next seed tray. Since everything's mixed inside the bag, we don't really make a big mess, right? Just shake it all out. Dump out my bonsai container and place them back in. 1 and 2. Alright, everything's good and wet. I'm just kind of poking it down a little bit. Even got these back out again today if I need them. So here we go. I'm just going to take it out of the bucket, try to work within the bucket. But I've got the rooting compound off to my left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back and stick it so that that first nub is just right below the soil line. I don't like it to stand a little straight. I don't think it doesn't really matter, but preference, you know. And then the next one, this one's a little bit thicker, you can see. It's only got 2 of the nubs on it. You can see this is a little bitty guy here. I'm not sure if he'll grow. There's the top on the right. That's the bottom. You can't really see it, huh? But I'm going to go ahead and stick that one too. There, that's what that looks like. One of the nice things about having the bowl on the sink is if you need to get somewhere, you just turn it instead of having to pick up the cell pack, the flimsy cell pack. You just turn this around and get it where you want it. Alright, that's the next batch done. Now we'll get it into the bonsai container. Okay, that one's done, and now on to the final cell pack. See what we got. Alright, so I'm down to the last of it. That's the flowering crabapple there and over here. I'm going to get these guys stuck in a coffee can or something, and I'll put the small ones in with the remaining Japanese maples. I'm not sure how helpful that was for you all today, but that is some potential Japanese maples and a hydrangea off there to your left. Up there you see on your left, those are more hydrangea, and then I get the benefit of looking at them as dried flowers, but those are also planted. Over here I've made a really neat arrangement. These are all dried flowers, however they are still hydrangea and they will grow again. So I dipped all of those and put them right here on my desk, and then just the sticks there behind, of course, are the Japanese maples. And then lastly, down here on the floor, I've got the flowering crabapple, and I'll include some pictures of those. Oh wait, I can't. I'd have to find free stock online. If I can, I'll include one here at the end and see if I have some free stock photos for you of the Japanese maples. I'll include those at the end of this video. If you don't see them, it's just because I don't have them. All right, I hope you guys had fun. There's my last little tray I forgot. Anyway, I don't know about fun, but maybe you learned something learning with me. I'm having fun doing it. So that's it for today, and we'll see what I come up with next.